Are you guys ready to see what we do with our rotten tomatoes?
Okay guys, I'm really excited. Today we're going to be working on some of our seed saving, which is something that we are super passionate about, and actually something that I have been lucky enough to have a bit of a mentor with. A while back, FarmFolkCityFolk opened up an application process for a seed saving mentorship program. And I jumped at the opportunity because we save lots of seeds every year. It's something that we really love and we feel passionate about, but it's also something that I feel I've only ever done off of my best judgment, or maybe what I've read in some books and stuff like that. And sometimes it's hit or miss. Sometimes we get really good germination rates and sometimes we don't get any that germinate. I just was never really sure why. So I applied for the program. There was just a handful of people in all of British Columbia that got in, which is really cool. And I almost didn't think I would get it. I wrote it out and it asked some really honest questions. And in an application process, you usually want to put your brightest foot forward. You're like, I'm really good at this and I'm good at that, and these are the things that make me the best candidate. But it also asked sort of what hardships were in your life, and I was just honest, which is not something I'd usually say in an interview process, how hard my life has been. But I did it. I was brave and I did it. And I got accepted. And so this summer, I have had the joy of working with a lovely gentleman named Rupert. And he's super cool, super knowledgeable. And so he's come out to our farm a little bit and seen what we're up to. And we've been able to sort of go back and forth with questions and take notes and stuff. And I went out to his farm, which was really lovely. And yeah, it's just been a really cool experience. So with what we're going to be doing today is going to be tomato seed saving. Every day is tomato day. And today is no different. Today is just a different part of tomato day, which is making sure that we have tomatoes for years to come. So in the past, what I've done is taken tomatoes, smushed them up in a jar, added water, and then let it sit to ferment for a few days. And then the seeds that sink to the bottom are the good seeds. The seeds that float to the top are bad. We have had sort of hit and miss germination with that. And so I got a hold of Rupert the other day and he gave me a call and we were able to chat about how he does it. And the only major difference in what he does with his tomatoes is just that he doesn't add water when it's fermenting. He just puts them into a jar or a bucket or whatever it might be, smushes them all up, burps it every once in a while, kind of like, lets it do its thing naturally without adding anything. And then after a few days, then he adds water and washes them clean and does that process. So it's just one step different than I do, but I am so excited to see how it changes what happens. I mean, it makes more sense. Honestly, it is what nature would do. Nature isn't gonna drop a tomato into a bucket of water and let it ferment. It's just gonna drop the tomato. It's gonna do its own things and its own enzymes and its own little soup. And I think that that's really what we want to do, is be the closest to what nature intends and be stewards of the land. So I'm excited. And I'm going to bring you guys with me to learn how. Oh my goodness.
It's heavier than I anticipated. Oh, oh no. Okay, hiya. All right, here's what we've got. Now we've got quite a few kinds to do. So I'm setting up a bit of a station. So I have a marker, I have my tape, gloves, because I think this is gonna be pretty squishy. Jars with lids, and some bins. So these bins, I think I'm gonna try for the larger tomatoes, and I might just squish a couple into the bottom of the bin and then let it do its thing, because I think it's just gonna give me more space than these jars. And I don't have any 1 liter jars left. I've used them all up. So I'm just gonna use these guys. But I mean, there's tomatoes that we have here that 1 tomato would overfill the whole jar. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so one thing we know we want a lot of is our tomatillos. So the salsa verde went really well. This year we were able to grow a few of the things that go on the salsa verde, but next year the hope is that we can do basically all of it. So we're gonna up how many onions we plant, garlic, we're gonna have more tomatillo. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to label this bin. Number 1. Like that. I'm gonna put it on the front, and then I'm gonna take a picture. This is how I label my dahlias and stuff too, just because there's so many, and eventually I want to be able to print off pictures and have booklets, and I'll have my own little farm office that categorizes, maybe color codes, who knows? All of the fun things on the farm. So what I'll do is I will take a tomatillo, put it beside the number 1 of the bin. That's terrible lighting. That's better. Tomatillo number 1. And then I'm gonna leave the husk and everything, because one of the things that we talked about being really beneficial is just that you leave all parts, because that's what would happen in nature. So some people like to just gut the tomatoes and keep that inside stuff and ferment that. But in nature, it would be getting all of this. So that's what we're gonna do here too. We're gonna squish this all up. It's a good one. We'll come over there and I'll show you exactly what it is that I'm doing. Basically, we are left with this mush. We're squeezing all of that in there and just mixing it all up. It'll be a layer like that. Oh, that actually smells really good. Just like that, and you can see it's all its juices in there and stuff. And then we'll leave that to ferment. Throw a couple more in there for good luck, because we know we want lots. And it was really hard to find tomatillo seeds this summer. Okay, so tomatillo number 1. Oh, did I lose my... I lost my thinger-dinger. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Now I lost the other one. Okay. So then that gets sealed up and we wait. Okay, so we're gonna do the final steps of the seed saving for the tomatoes. They've been sitting in here for a little bit, fermenting, making all their nice juices. And I don't have any screens right now that are open and available, but I really need to get these guys done. So just for the time being, I'm just gonna put them on a paper plate and set them in a nice sunny window, just so that they can kind of get drying. And then once a screen opens up, I'll put them out on there. Let's see here. We can start with this one here. I'm just gonna write on the plate which one it is. So it's number 2. And this is a clean jar. I just recycled an old pickle jar. We're gonna take this. And we're just gonna dump it into here just so that we have more space to work. And then we're just gonna fill it up. And any of the good seeds are gonna sink to the bottom, and anything that's bad is gonna rise to the top. So you can see here, we've actually already got a whole bunch of seeds sinking to the bottom, which is really wonderful. Just see all of that good stuff sink down, and then all of this bad stuff up here comes up. And we're just gonna scoop all of this ugly stuff out. So then with all of the seeds sinking to the bottom here, you can see all these good biddies. We're just gonna dump off the excess here and try and keep these to the bottom so we're not pouring them out. You just pour nice and slow so you don't lose any of your good stuff. Now all of that stuff in there is what we love. That's all the goods. And so then we go through that process a couple times. You can see again, the good stuff is settling to the bottom and the bad bits are floating to the top. So then again, it's just the same process. So then you can see right there, all those good biddies. Now there's still some floaty stuff in there, so I'm gonna do this a couple more times. And then when you see how clear the water is here, this is when you know that you've done a good amount of washing, right? That water's nice and clear. There's not really much of any sediment, nothing coming up to the top anymore. The seeds have all made their way to the bottom. And then we've got almost everything out of there. There's one stick that doesn't seem to want to come, but this is what we're left with. It's all of that at the bottom. I like to get them going before I put them through the sieve. Otherwise, they just stay to the bottom. So I get them swirling. So then that's what we're left with. Now we can dry this. We'll give it probably one more rinse once it's on the screen. And then we'll just put it out to dry and they're gonna be good to go for next year. I'm gonna keep working here and get these all finished. I've got quite a few different brands to do. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so I just came in from finishing up my tomato seeds. And I'm happy with what I got, but I'm pretty disappointed. Usually when I save tomato seed, when I ferment them in jars. And so they're sealed. And this time there were a few kinds that I wanted way more of. I bought these plastic containers thinking it was gonna be a great plan. And I didn't really think about the fact that flies could get in because it wasn't a fully tight seal. It's a lid and it clicks on, but it's not fully sealed. So the bins were completely full of bugs. Okay.
It was really gross. And I tried to do the rinsing and pouring method that I normally do. Maybe all the gross bugs will float to the top and the good seeds will sink, but they did not. Once I washed it all up, all the bugs sank to the bottom and it was gross. And I just thought, there's no way for me to safely process and dry and store those seeds without more bugs just kind of taking over my entire seed bin, you know? Unfortunately, I had to compost the big bins of tomatoes, which sucks because there was some really cool varieties in there that I wanted to save for next year. But I do have a few of the seeds left from them anyways, from the packets that I purchased. So I can try again next year. In the game of hit or miss, this was a miss. So better luck next year.